years ago, I started a comfrey patch, right in the middle of my prized flower gardens. The idea behind this comfrey patch was the marrying of what is common and underrated, something like comfrey or chives, amongst what is spectacular, roses and lilies and showpieces. It's part of what makes our garden comfortable and lived in. When I planted the comfrey patch, I didn't fully understand all of what this little plant had to offer me as a gardener. But now, after living alongside it for almost 4 years, I'm beginning to understand its particular magic. Not only is it the first to arrive in the spring, it's so incredibly hardy and prolific. It can be planted from just the tiniest piece of a root cutting, and before long, it will fill up as much of your garden space as you allow it to.
Before we head up into the garden to make our comfrey feed today, I would like to thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Now, when I started blogging over a decade ago, there was no resources like this, resources that made it incredibly easy to get your domain purchase and build your website. Squarespace does this with ready-to-use templates that you can customize with your logo, your information, all of your creative endeavors. So whether you're wanting to just build a community page or an event page, or whether you're wanting to start a website where you can sell something, Squarespace makes it very easy. So I want you to visit squarespace.com/Elliott Homestead. You get a free trial, you get 10% off, but only if you use that special link. So creatives, it's time to get your idea out into the world by visiting squarespace.com/Elliott Homestead.
Right now, it's time to clip back this huge patch, stem by stem, taking care to wear long sleeves so it doesn't irritate your skin. And be careful as you step, because you never know what you're going to discover amongst the patch. The first gift of the comfrey patch comes when it goes into bloom and its tiny little purple flowers appear. There is hardly a plant more loved by bumblebees than comfrey. It's like a bumblebee nursery, and it's one of the very first plants to feed them each spring. Right now, as I'm cutting back the comfrey, there's already new growth pushing up from the soil below. The comfrey will completely rebloom and feed the bumblebees well into the fall if I manage it correctly. So while cutting it back may seem a bit of a loss, it's only momentary. Before you know it, brand new growth will start shooting up into the sky and new purple flowers will appear. Our comfrey patch is a habitat for all kinds of critters. Lots of creepy crawlies, worms, beetles, and spiders. It's exactly what they love. Comfrey feeds the soil and the soil feeds them. I've planted my comfrey at home amongst a variety of food for little critters. It's surrounded by lavender for the honeybees, roses, currant bushes, and sunflowers. It's like a buffet. But today's about comfrey feed, the second offering that comfrey brings us. I'm combining two of my favorite gardeners in the entire world, Monty Don and Tasha Tudor. Now, Tasha Tudor historically favored manure tea for her gardens, especially her foxglove, whereas Monty has long taught the benefits of a comfrey tea, and I thought, why not both? I've got a cow, and her poop is in plentiful supply. And I've also got a comfrey patch, also freely giving. So what if I combine the two? A little fresh poop, a little comfrey past its prime, and we're about to make the best fertilizer for your garden beds you've ever seen. Why go to the bother? I'll tell you why. Comfrey is so wonderfully unique. Its deep tap roots draw up nutrients from the soil, and this creates a rich, dark, mineral-dense plant fertilizer, especially perfectly rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. This is garden talk for really healthy, really beautiful flowers and plants. It's wonderfully well-rounded in its nutrients just as it is, and that is just what the tomatoes and grapes ordered. Now, some make their tea by letting the smushed leaves sit and draining off the liquid that comes off them, but Tasha did her manure tea differently. She added hers to a garbage can of water and let it sit for months before using it directly on her garden. So we're going to do a little bit of both. The trash can will be filled with water and the comfrey tea will sit for just a few weeks. This way it can be used just as is. The comfrey tea, when it's done, should be a pale brown color, but the longer it sits, the richer and deeper brown it will get. If it gets like this, just dilute it a little bit more. It should always look just like a nice cup of tea. So the garbage can will sit here under the shade of a tree that was just pruned and needs to be landscaped desperately while it steeps. And then I can come out and dunk my watering can right into the trash can, into that stinky liquid, and water the gardens as needed. I know it's just a plastic trash can, but it makes me so happy when I see it, magically sitting there, turning what was once waste into what will nourish the next generation of plants in my gardens. Like a bit of Tasha and Monty are here to encourage me as I go about my tasks in the garden. And in this small and silly way, Tasha, a woman who has inspired me to create this space as it is now, lives on. I hope you find this comfrey and cow poo tea a wonderful nourishment for your gardens.